Did you know that more immigrants are leaving the US now than ever before? The country that was once considered the ultimate land of opportunity is now watching thousands pack their bags and walk away. But why? Is it the rising cost of living? The never-ending immigration struggles? Or is it something even deeper, something that most people don't want to talk about? For decades, the United States was the dream destination for millions. A place where hard work could lead to success, a better future, and a fresh start. But today, a shocking trend is unfolding. Instead of coming in, people are rushing out. In fact, recent reports show that emigration from the US has hit record highs, a trend that many never expected. And here's the most surprising part. Many of those leaving aren't just undocumented immigrants. They include legal residents, skilled professionals, and even US citizens who say they've had enough. But what's driving this mass exodus? What has changed so drastically that people are now saying, the American dream isn't worth it? Stick around, because today we're diving into 10 shocking reasons why immigrants are fleeing the US in record numbers. And trust me, you'll want to hear them all. Number 1. Rising cost of living. For many immigrants, the US was supposed to be the land of financial freedom, a place where hard work could lead to success. But today, the reality is far from that dream. Everything is getting more expensive. Rent, groceries, healthcare, and even basic necessities. Take housing, for example. In major cities, rent has skyrocketed to insane levels. A one-bedroom apartment in places like New York or San Francisco can cost over $3,000 per month. Even in smaller towns, housing prices are climbing, forcing families to spend most of their income just to keep a roof over their heads. And it's not just rent. The cost of food, gas, and even electricity has surged, making it harder to save money. Many immigrants work multiple jobs, but even then, it's barely enough to survive. Healthcare is another nightmare. Unlike countries with universal healthcare, the US system is ridiculously expensive. A simple hospital visit can cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars, and many immigrants, especially those without employer-provided insurance, can't afford proper medical care. So, what's the alternative? Many immigrants are realizing they can have a better quality of life elsewhere. Countries like Canada, Mexico, and European nations offer lower living costs, affordable health care, and a stronger social safety net. And for those struggling in the US, the choice becomes clear. Leave while you still can. Number 2. Stricter immigration policies. For decades, the US has been known as a country that welcomes immigrants. But in recent years, getting in and staying in has become harder than ever. The immigration process has become a never-ending maze of paperwork, delays, and rejections. Green card applications take years, visa approvals are unpredictable, and deportations have increased. Many immigrants live in constant fear. One change in policy, and their entire life in the US could be over. Even skilled professionals who once had a smoother path are struggling. H-1B visa holders, many of whom work in tech, healthcare, and engineering, face constant uncertainty. Companies are laying off workers, and with strict visa rules, losing a job could mean being forced to leave the country immediately. And let's talk about families. Many immigrants are stuck in long waits to bring their loved ones to the US. Some are separated for years, sometimes even decades. The system is so slow that people are asking themselves, is it really worth waiting this long? Meanwhile, other countries are making immigration easier. Canada, for example, has a straightforward pathway to permanent residency. European nations offer work visas with less red tape. For many immigrants, the US is no longer the best option. It's just the most difficult one. Faced with uncertainty, delays, and endless obstacles, many are making the decision to leave. Not because they want to, but because they have no choice. Number 3. Discrimination and racism. For many immigrants, life in the US isn't just about surviving financially, it's about feeling safe, respected, and welcomed. But for an increasing number of people, that feeling is disappearing. In recent years, racism, xenophobia, and anti-immigrant sentiment have been on the rise. Hate crimes have increased, and many immigrants, whether they're documented or not, feel like they're constantly being watched, judged, or even targeted. The workplace isn't always a safe space either. Many immigrants face job discrimination, lower wages, and fewer opportunities for promotions. Even highly skilled professionals often struggle to get the same recognition and pay as their American-born colleagues. And then there's the media and political rhetoric. Immigrants are often portrayed as job stealers, criminals, or a burden to the system. When powerful voices push these narratives, it fuels hostility in communities, schools, and workplaces. For many, the pressure becomes too much. Why stay in a place where you're constantly treated as an outsider? Countries like Canada, Portugal, and New Zealand actively welcome immigrants and celebrate diversity. Instead of fighting against discrimination every day, many immigrants choose to start fresh in a country where they feel truly accepted. In the end, it's not just about finding better jobs or lower costs. It's about dignity, respect, and a sense of belonging. And for many, the U.S. no longer feels like home. Have you or someone you know ever faced discrimination in the U.S.? Share your experience in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And hey, if you found this video eye-opening, hit that subscribe button. It's just one click, but it helps us more than you know. Number 4. Better opportunities abroad. For decades, the United States was seen as the ultimate land of opportunity. But today, many immigrants are realizing something shocking. Better opportunities exist elsewhere. Countries like Canada, Australia, Germany, and even Mexico are rolling out welcoming immigration policies, strong economies, and better work-life balance. In some cases, these countries offer higher salaries, more benefits, and easier paths to permanent residency, all without the struggles many face in the U.S. Take Canada, for example. While the U.S. makes it incredibly difficult to get a green card, Canada offers direct pathways to permanent residency. Skilled workers can apply through programs like the Express Entry system, which is faster and less complicated than the U.S. visa process. Then there's Europe. Countries like Germany and the Netherlands actively recruit international workers and offer free or affordable education, universal healthcare, and generous social benefits. Even smaller nations like Portugal and Spain have been attracting immigrants with affordable living costs and easy residency programs. And let's not forget about remote work. More immigrants are choosing to leave the U.S. because they can now work for American companies from abroad, without dealing with high costs and visa restrictions. The bottom line? The U.S. is no longer the only dream destination. Many immigrants are choosing countries that treat them better, pay them more, and offer a better quality of life. Number 5. Lack of work-life balance. For many immigrants, moving to the U.S. meant working hard to build a better life. But what they didn't expect was just how exhausting that work would be. Unlike many other developed countries, the U.S. has some of the worst work-life balance policies in the world. Long hours, minimal vacation days, and a culture that glorifies overworking make it nearly impossible to enjoy life outside of work. In the U.S., most workers get 0 guaranteed paid vacation days. That's right, 0. It's entirely up to employers whether they offer paid time off, and many immigrants, especially those in low-wage jobs, barely get a break. Compare that to Europe, where workers get at least 4 weeks of paid vacation by law. In France, Spain, and Germany, employees actually take their time off without fear of losing their jobs. Meanwhile, in the U.S., many workers feel guilty or pressured not to take time off at all. And then there's paid parental leave. In the U.S., new parents are often forced to return to work just weeks after having a baby. In contrast, countries like Sweden, Canada, and the UK offer several months or even years of paid leave. For many immigrants, the decision becomes clear. Why stay in a country that forces you to work endlessly with little time for family, rest, or personal growth? Instead of spending their lives working just to survive, many are choosing to move to countries where life is about more than just work. Do you think the U.S. needs better work-life balance policies? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget, subscribing is free, but it helps us keep making videos that matter. Number 6. Healthcare challenges. One of the biggest shocks for many immigrants after arriving in the U.S. is the insanely high cost of healthcare. In most developed countries, seeing a doctor or going to the hospital doesn't leave you drowning in debt. But in the U.S., one medical emergency can wipe out years of savings. Unlike countries with universal healthcare, the U.S. runs on a for-profit system where everything, from an ambulance ride to a simple checkup, can cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars. And if you don't have insurance, good luck. Let's talk numbers. The average cost of giving birth in the US is around $18,000 without complications. A simple ER visit, easily $1,000 or more. Even basic medications like insulin can cost hundreds of dollars per month. Compare this to countries like Canada, the UK, or Germany, where healthcare is either free or heavily subsidized, making it affordable for everyone, including immigrants. For those who do have insurance, it's still a headache. Many employers provide health coverage, but premiums, deductibles, and co-pays add up. And if you lose your job, you lose your healthcare too. The result? Many immigrants are choosing to leave the US for places where getting sick doesn't mean going bankrupt. Countries with public healthcare systems, lower costs, and better access to medical care are becoming far more attractive. At the end of the day, health is priceless. But in the US, it comes at a cost too high for many to bear. Number 7. Safety concerns and gun violence. For many immigrants, safety is a top priority when choosing where to live. But in the US, the growing concerns over gun violence, crime, and mass shootings have made many reconsider if it's really the best place to raise a family. Here's a chilling fact. The US has more mass shootings than any other developed country. Schools, shopping malls, concerts, places that should feel safe, have become targets for violence. Parents worry about sending their kids to school, employees feel uneasy in their workplaces, and no one truly knows when or where the next tragedy will happen. The numbers don't lie. There are more guns than people in the US, and while other countries have strict gun control laws, America's laws vary by state, making it easier for firearms to end up in the wrong hands. Many immigrants come from countries where gun violence is rare, so adjusting to the fear and uncertainty in the US is overwhelming. But it's not just about guns. Crime rates in some cities have been rising, and many people, especially those in lower-income communities, feel like they're constantly at risk. Meanwhile, countries like Japan, Canada, and many European nations have much lower crime rates, stricter gun laws, and a stronger sense of public safety. For many immigrants, the decision is clear. Why stay in a country where personal safety feels like a gamble? Instead, they're choosing to move to places where they can live with less fear and more peace of mind. Do you think the US needs stricter gun laws to make the country safer? Let us know in the comments. And if this video opened your eyes, hit that subscribe button. It's free and it helps us create more content like this. Number 8. Family separation and visa issues. For many immigrants, family is everything. But in the US, strict immigration policies and endless visa delays have made it nearly impossible for families to stay together. Imagine this. You move to the US for a better life, but you have to leave your spouse, children, or parents behind. You apply for a family reunification visa, hoping they'll be able to join you soon. But instead of months, you're told to wait years, sometimes even decades. This isn't just a rare case. Right now, thousands of families are stuck in immigration limbo, waiting for approvals that never seem to come. The U.S. immigration system is so backlogged and complicated that some immigrants give up hope and decide to leave instead. And it's not just family visas, even work and student visas come with extreme uncertainty. Many skilled workers on H-1B visas face the risk of sudden layoffs, which could mean being forced to leave the country in a matter of weeks. International students invest years into their education in the U.S., only to struggle with securing a work visa afterward. Meanwhile, other countries have faster, more family-friendly immigration policies. In places like Canada, Portugal, and Australia, the process of bringing loved ones over is much smoother and quicker. For many immigrants, the choice becomes clear. Why wait years to reunite with family when other countries make it easier? At the end of the day, no job, no dream, and no opportunity is worth being separated from the people you love. Number 9. Lack of social support systems. For many immigrants, moving to the U.S. means chasing the dream of financial success. But what happens when things go wrong? What if you lose your job, get sick, or simply need a little help to get back on your feet? Unlike many other developed nations, the U.S. offers very little in terms of social support. Let's start with unemployment benefits. Losing your job in the U.S. can be devastating because unemployment benefits are limited, difficult to access, and vary by state. In contrast, many European countries provide generous unemployment assistance that allows people to stay afloat while searching for new opportunities. And what about housing? The US has one of the worst affordable housing crises in the world. Rent prices are skyrocketing, but government assistance programs are overwhelmed and underfunded. In cities like New York, San Francisco, and Los Angeles, thousands of immigrants and even US citizens are struggling to keep up with unbearable rent prices. Then there's childcare. In the US, parents often spend thousands of dollars per month on daycare. In contrast, countries like Sweden, Germany, and France offer low-cost or even free childcare, allowing families to work without financial strain. The reality is, in the US, you're often on your own. Unlike other countries with strong welfare systems, affordable education, and universal healthcare, the US forces people to constantly hustle just to survive. For many immigrants, this isn't the life they dreamed of. Instead of struggling with little to no safety net, many are choosing to move to countries that actually support their citizens and residents. Number 10. Political and economic uncertainty. For many immigrants, stability is everything. They leave their home countries hoping to find a secure future in the US. But in recent years, political turmoil, economic struggles, and unpredictable immigration policies have made life in America feel more uncertain than ever. Let's start with immigration laws. Every few years, new administrations bring major changes to visa policies, green card rules, and deportation priorities. One president might offer protections for immigrants, while the next one reverses everything. This leaves many immigrants living in fear, unsure if they'll still have a legal status next year. Then there's the economy. While the US has long been seen as an economic powerhouse, wages are struggling to keep up with inflation, job layoffs are increasing, and the wealth gap is growing. Many immigrants find themselves working harder but saving less. Meanwhile, countries like Canada, Germany, and Australia offer better job security, strong worker protections, and a lower cost of living. And let's not forget about the divisive political climate. Tensions over immigration, social issues, and economic policies have made the US feel more unstable than ever. Many immigrants say they're tired of the uncertainty, the constant policy changes, and the feeling that they could be targeted at any time. For those who came seeking a better future, the US now feels too unpredictable. Instead of waiting for things to improve, many are choosing to move to places where they can build a stable, secure life, without constantly worrying about what the next election will bring. For years, the US was seen as the land of opportunity, the place where dreams came true. But for many immigrants, that dream has turned into a struggle for survival. From skyrocketing living costs and harsh immigration policies to lack of safety, poor health care, and endless uncertainty, the reality is clear. More and more people are saying, enough is enough. They're choosing to leave, not because they want to, but because they have to. The truth is, making the decision to leave everything behind isn't easy. It takes courage, sacrifice, and hope that there's something better out there. And for many, there is. Countries that welcome immigrants, support families, and offer a better quality of life are becoming the new dream destinations. But this is a conversation that needs to be heard. These stories matter, and the world needs to know why so many immigrants are turning their backs on the so-called American dream. We put our heart and soul into making these videos because this information needs to be shared. But the truth is, creating content like this is tough. It takes time, research, and effort. If you found this video valuable, please support us by subscribing. It's just one click for you, but for us, it means everything. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Stay informed, stay empowered, love.